it will go in a delay. So for those who just tune in, welcome to our live session of the MET-Axe-Sharpening Week 4. Oops, sorry, we went into my Facebook. That's not supposed to happen, but anyways, there's nothing private to see there. So what I'm going to do is, in one moment, we're going to just, I'm just going to stop share for a while. We're live on Facebook, and then we're going to go in.
Oh yeah, will my viewers be able to see? Because I think some of my friends coming in through Facebook actually.
Yes, they should be able to see it.
You provided you gotta tag me or you gotta add me in or something, right?
I have made it available to public, and I will tag you.
Okay, great. I'm waiting for the live feed to appear actually.
You know why it didn't appear? Because it was only available to me.
Okay, so
now
yeah,
you should be able to see it as I just tagged you. We are live. I can see the thing going on right now.
Yep, I mean, okay, great. I'm waiting for the live feed.
Yeah, I just heard your voice. It's like an echo, so there'll be a bit of a back delay. But okay, we have a couple of guests who have tuned in. Welcome everybody to this session. So we are officially going to start. My name is Jesse. I'm the host of this program called the Axe-Sharpening program. If it's okay, I will just mute a couple. Just to give you a brief introduction, I'll mute you guys for some of y'all. So welcome to the MET-Axe-Sharpening session. Now this axe-sharpening session all came about was during this lockdown. And as you can see, of course, today I have a pleasure to have Ryan Tan, whom I got to know back in uni days, back in 2009, and we had studied. We were doing the same course together, which was in quantity surveying, and that's how I met Ryan. And I had approached him for our MET-Axe-Sharpening session to come and give a talk about what's the insurance, to talk about the insurance industry and what are we covered. Whether we know about this kind of things, because too often a lot of us we always tend to look at ourselves, oh yeah lah, insurance, I know lah, but actually yeah, sometimes we missed the point. Sometimes we don't, we're like, actually how come I'm not covered by this? So I approached Ryan about 3 weeks ago to get him to come and share about his experience about the insurance industry, and also to talk us through more about what is this insurance, right? What is it all about? What am I covered? To give us a deeper understanding about what are we covered, and getting to explore the topic even deeper, so that when we go out, we are aware of what we are covered and what we are not covered. So just a brief introduction. Again, sorry, the MET came about was earlier this year in March, actually before March 2020, with March 2020, when I decided, when we were in a lockdown, I was just saying, you know, all of us were in a lockdown, and 2020 had our plans all flipped upside down. Whether you are traveling, whether you're what, everything has been flipped upside down. And so work, right? We all, for most of us, we have to work from home. We can't go out and we are restricted. And at one moment I was thinking, hey, I had this idea that I had learned from my previous organization through my leader. And he was doing this thing called the axe-sharpening session. So what is this axe-sharpening session all about? Basically, the axe-sharpening session, we've run now for about 21 weeks already. This week is 21 week. I've run it with a couple of friends. And what the axe-sharpening, what we do is we cover on topics that help us sharpen our skills up. Because too often, you know, when we are stuck at home, sometimes we just want to get our work done. We are just, oh yeah, I need to get this done. Sometimes we don't have when we don't pause and reflect, sometimes we get burned out. But when we take that time to pause and reflect on our work and sharpen up our skills, we will be more efficient in the work that we do outside. And so that's why I created this MET-Axe-Sharpening sessions, which I run weekly every Mondays at 9:30 p.m. Today we start early. That's because I have a guest speaker, which is Ryan, but usually we start at 9:30. And we've covered topics, for example, the laws of growth, giving and receiving feedback. If you guys would like to know about giving and receiving feedback, just give me a thumbs up. I can send to Ryan the slides and you guys can have a look at that slide, because giving and receiving feedback is so important in today's context, especially when we are trying to build a healthy relationship with our colleagues in the workplace. And so that's what I've did. So apart from that topic, we've covered like finding joy in the workplace, how can we teamwork, and then we also talk about building connections and so on. There's a lot of topics I can't remember because it's been 21 weeks. It's a lot, but along the way, I decided, instead of just running just normal sessions, I thought it would be great to have guest speakers to come and share of their experience and how we can support them and how can we learn from each other, especially during this pandemic situation that we're facing right now. So over the last 4 weeks, I had speakers from, I had a fellow teach from Malaysia, who is a teacher, who came and speak and shared his experiences about teaching and all during this time of pandemic. I even had a chiropractor to come on board to share, and I even in fact have a volunteer, someone to come and talk about volunteerism. And today is our week 4, episode 4 of our guest speaker, which is none other than Ryan Tanzue, who is coming to share his experience from his journey to his life, to where he is today. And we have a couple more guest speakers who's coming, but Ryan is Ryan, thank you for coming on board to come and share and to share with us more about what you do and everything. So welcome. And to those tuning in again on Facebook, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on here on Zoom, I welcome you. I do apologize to some of you. This is actually my first time I kind of hosting this kind of event. That's because I've never done this hosting stuff before, but this is the first time that me and my group decided that we're going to run this, and I decided to take that step of faith to run this, even though I'm not good or have not experienced running a podcast, but this is the first time, but I hope it goes well. But yeah, I do apologize if I do repeat myself a couple of times. But welcome to all of you. Because we are live, I would still welcome all our guests who are tuning in for this session. So without further ado, welcome Ryan. It's great to have you on board. Yeah, tell us, I think before we get into our questions, Ryan and myself, we met about a month ago to talk about this, and we had almost about 3 hours having a conversation just to talk about what can we do, what are some of the things that we are missing out, or what can we talk on. And I decided, I came aboard with Ryan. I said, hey Ryan, there's one thing I think I need to reach out to our audience, or to speak to some of us, to a broader audience who may not know that, are we covered? Do we know whether we are covered well in our insurance, in terms of whether you are seeking the right help from the right person? And so that's where I came from, that perspective, and Ryan agreed to come on board and share. And so I welcome you again. Ryan, would you like to just perhaps say a few words to your audience who are tuning in live? I've seen a couple of them coming on Facebook as well. Would you like to just say a few words?
Definitely, bro. Hey, first of all, I would really love to thank you to you, and also giving me this opportunity to really come onto this platform and share and also inspire people out there, through this tough time as well. As also at the same time to also share more on the importance of insurance nowadays. Okay, so yes, Jesse and I, we really knew each other for quite long, and the reason why I come on board to this platform is because that I find Jesse's cause is very, very meaningful to reach out more people, to help more people through tough times like this. Yeah.
Great, thank you, thanks Ryan. Really appreciate what you just mentioned there. You know, it's about spreading awareness. I think one of the two things that we talked about when we met was, you know, how can we reach out to people? How can we spread out more awareness? You know, especially in this topic that we're talking about, which is the insurance. Are we aware? What are we covered on? And hence, the title is, you know, are you covered? And for those of you, if you have to leave early tonight and you can't stay on for long, rest assured, don't worry. You can find this podcast session live on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, which will be uploaded sometime this week. And so, Ryan, I think let's talk about, you know, before I go in the question, I think it's quite funny how our journey started. You know, we started off, you know, as QS, and it's funny, right? A lot of times we assume that after QS you're surely gonna be in the QS industry, right? But I think if you look at it today for both of us, I did journalism, you did QS. Where did we end up right now? I'm in marketing and PR, and you are in the insurance industry, which is totally far-fetched from our course that we did. So it's like quite incredible. Like our journey is like, and I was surprised too. It's like, how did you end up in the industry? You know, so we're gonna touch a little bit on that. But so I guess without further ado, we'll go in for our first session. We'll dive into before we go into the main discussion, perhaps you could share a little bit about yourself. What do you study? Where do you grow up? Your hobbies, and some fun fact about yourself. And secondly, how do you end up in the insurance industry? Because as I mentioned, we all did quantity surveying, right? And I ended up going into communications, and I ended up being in the journalism industry because I found out that there was something I liked. But you stayed on and finished your course you finished your whole thing, right? You finished
Yeah. I completed the course. Yeah, I completed one actually.
And yet you are now a fully fledged wealth planner. It's like, how did that go on? So yeah, how do you end up in the insurance industry, and what got you interested in this profession? Yeah.
Okay, great. So all right, let's all start. So before we all proceed, I just want to check with you all. Just do a quick sound check. Can everyone hear me? If yes, can you please put a yes in the chat box?
I'll put a thumbs up on
a thumbs up would be great as well.
On your screen. All right.
Fantastic. Awesome, guys. Okay, so let's all begin. All right, so actually, I started off as a QS because my parents wanted me to continue their footstep. My dad was an engineer, a civil engineer. So basically, growing up from a family background of in the construction, we have to take that footstep. Of course, I did complete the course and I graduated as a QS, a bachelor in QS. So I stayed on in the industry about 4 years, in the consultant firm and also in the contractor firm. So after that, one day I just realized that, hey, this thing wasn't really my kind of thing. I don't find that job satisfaction there, and I just felt like I was searching for a different kind of industries and field to work on, to try it out. So of course, one day I was approached by my aunt, who is currently my unit manager. So she asked me, hey, Ryan, would you like to just give a try? At least you just try, maybe start off as a part-timer. So I was like, being curious and also wanting to explore further in the industry, certainly I would say, yeah, sure, you know, why not? No harm trying anyway, right? Correct or not, bro? So, so that's where I started my journey. I started off as a part-timer. So about in a year and a half, I fully converted into a full-timer. So why the reason I got so interested in this profession or this industry is because of the, you know, this job, the satisfaction and also the passion to give people professional advice on how to manage on their financial planning. Because as we all know, insurance is actually a part of financial planning, all right? So yes, when I'm able to give people advice, when people, you know, understand the concept, the ideas of it, and that is how I manage to help them out to plan out their financial planning. And at the same time, of course, things that we wish not to happen, which is unforeseen situation or circumstances that happen. So if things like that were to happen, then the things that we plan out for our clients manage to help them out. So I actually see this as one of the biggest satisfaction that why I maintain and also persevere in this industry. So I think that, you know, imagine you can actually help people at the same time, but you can also make a living. So I think this is really something very interesting. And best of all is I'm able to reach out more people and also share the awareness to them.
That's very interesting how you got into that. But you know, let's go a step back a little bit.
Okay.
Because you did say that you are it may be this, don't worry, it's not off guard. I'm not catching Ryan. By the way, all these just for everybody's fun fact. Whatever Ryan had just shared, I didn't know. Okay, so Ryan was initially like when we met up, he was just saying, hey, maybe I should tell you what I share. I said, no, I want to be part of the audience when I'm asking the QA because we wanted to make it very real. And I didn't even know that was what you just mentioned was what I was surprised. I'm like, wow, I had to just check, is this Ryan really seriously from QS to that and your whole journey part-time to full-time? I'm just like, wow, you know. But yeah, let's take it a step back. What got you into QS actually? You know, back when we were studying, right? So what got you into QS? So before, for me, I got into QS. How I met Ryan was because after SPM, I wasn't sure what I was gonna do, and I just told my dad I love maths, and so I entered QS. But knowing, right, guys, I bet you, those of you who are tuning on FB, you can put in your comments. On your, you can leave your comment on FB on the comment section, or you can just, you know, those tuning in on Zoom, you can leave your comments on the chat box. But when you go into QS, you need to learn a bit of maths. You need to actually not learn a bit, you need to know maths. Now I went correct, right? I'll ask Ryan, you need to learn maths, right?
Yes.
I went in there with zero knowledge of maths, and you guys must be wondering, what? How do you end up in QS and you got no knowledge of maths? See, the difference is you gotta know. So my dad didn't know that in art stream, when you're doing SPM, you don't do maths. That's only applicable for the science stream. And I was in the art stream, and I said I love maths. So he just said, okay, I'll put you in QS, so you sure pass. My second, I think it was how do you classify that, Ryan? I think it was second
semester.
Second semester, yes. I totally forgot. You see, uni days are 9 years, almost 9 years already, man, since uni. It was second semester. All my subject passed, but the one subject I failed. And guess what it is? Of all subjects, I told my dad I love maths. I failed maths. And he said, son, why did you fail? How do you fail? I said, Dad, I love maths, but the problem was I didn't do maths in high school. And that is like, you know, it's like your bogey tail, the bogey in your... And so that's where I kind of like, no, that's not where I want to be. And then after that, I decided, okay, I'll go to... I do journalism instead. So that was my reason why I ended up in QS. It was because I said I love maths, but my dad, without knowing I didn't do maths, put me into a situation which I have zero clue. So yeah, what about your side, Ryan? You know, speaking, how do you end up in QS?
Okay, so the story is like that. Actually, my parents like I mentioned just now, they are all from the construction industry. So we have construction industry background. So in this case, you know, my dad wanted me to, you know, take over somehow, like, you know, take over the footstep, you know, follow the footstep. So it turned out to be, I tried my best. You know, I really did try very hard to understand the things. You know, some people say, you heard a lot of our friends saying that we can study the smart way or things like that, but I went through the hard way. I put in a lot of effort, you know, trying to really blend myself or make myself able to accept QS. Of course, eventually going through the hard way, I made it out as a QS lah. Yeah, so yeah, and that's how I entered the industry. But it wasn't easy because it at first, initially, I was actually my dad hoped that I can become an engineer, a civil engineer, but my physics was horrible. Okay, it was horrible. Throughout my, I can share you guys honestly to all the audience today, I failed my physics throughout my pre-U. I was so damn honest about it. So nothing to be ashamed of, because everyone got different kind of skill sets actually. So not necessary that you fail in one subject and that is the end of everything. You see? Yeah. So I had to do QS. So my dad was saying, hey, QS is like a better alternative, you know, much more easier than engineer, and you're still in the industry. So I say was like, okay, you know, let's just do it lah. So went through diploma, went through degree. That took me about almost close to 4.5 to 5 years. And yep, and so I done my QS. I graduated as a bachelor in QS from Taylor's. Okay, yeah, so that's how we ended up lah, you know.
It's quite interesting how it's quite interesting how both, you see how both our pathways is very unique, how we ended up, and then we journeyed, you know, at the end we journeyed out into different profession. Would you say, just now you're talking about, you know, the hardship, you know, when you went through that hardship, a bit of hardship, right?
Right.
Would you think, you know, you think it's a necessary for you to go through it? I know I spoke to this with a couple of friends whom they said, you know, yeah, sometimes you need to go through the hardship, all this, because that's where you learn who you truly are, which I say it's fine. But if you, like for me, I shared with them, I'm completely zero clueless at maths. If I continue on, why would I want to struggle on? Why should I struggle on? I need to, and I think it's so true when you say it depends on your skill sets, you know, we have to be good at. So would you, now that you have a family, right, Ryan, I think, speaking on that mindset, you know, I'm going to put you in a bit of off what, but it's just like a casual chat, because, you know, this is for all of you tuning in live on Facebook. This platform is where we can share, be open, and that's where I want to encourage people to be open up, because sometimes when we open up about of our failures, that's where we learn the most, and failure is usually not the end. Just a short note, I covered this topic about how can we fail forward, and with Ryan I met another friend, of course, a couple of weeks ago, that if we don't fail along the way, if we don't fail along the way, and if we continue to experience success, if you experience success all the way, great. And if you know how to deal with failure, that's a fantastic asset. But for some of us, when we are experiencing such great success and then suddenly you hit a failure, sometimes to hit failure earlier on is a good step for us to learn, because in future you know how to deal with failure, right? And so I think, you know, it's back to you, Ryan. How would you, you know, what you went through, would you put that through with your kid?
Okay.
How is your set? Because your parents have that mindset on you. So it'd be very interesting to, because newer generation like us, we are the new generations. And so I met a couple of friends who are about this age, and they have different mindsets for the kids. Of course, they want to put some of their parents' mindset, some of their parents' ground teachings into that. But what about you? What do you feel like? What do you think your child, when we go through talking about what we just spoke, will you do that with your kid? See,
Okay, first of all, of course, as a parent, we always want to give our kids the best. Definitely, this one, no doubt. But we all know that sometimes when we give our best, it might not be what is best for them because they know what they are pursuing, they know what they want. So instead of giving our best, maybe like following our footstep, which is parents' footstep. Rather, we need to have a heart-to-heart talk, and also to let them, that at least we understand. Like let's say I speak to my daughter. Okay, my daughter is still 2 months old actually,
yeah,
but well, let's say let's fast forward to the future.
yeah,
I sit down and I speak to her. Of course, I would want to listen to her and also understand what is she thinking about and what she wants to do and what is her passion. So to me, more importantly is, it's not about being very good in academic excellence and things like that. Rather is what I want is that we, as long as our kids, they come out to the society, they contribute to the society, maybe pursuing what they like or what they are passionate about, I think that's very good. As long they do not commit crimes or do not do or involve into anything illegal, I think that is, fair enough. That is good enough. Yeah, I don't expect them to be someone very well known or someone top in the society, but rather someone that contribute and is a good citizen in the society. Yeah, that is my point of view. Yeah, so I don't expect them to follow my footstep. To be honest, insurance industry is not easy. Okay, so I don't expect my daughter to follow my footstep. Of course, if she likes it, she has the passion in it, why not? But if she doesn't, it's okay. I'm open enough. I allow her to pursue what she has passion or interest in.
right. Okay. All right. Wow. Yeah, that was something that came to my thought because, we were talking about how we ended up in the industry and stuff.
Right.
But
Right.
but now that we've talked into now, following up on your, you said in insurance industry. So we move on to the next question. And so
Great.
my question goes like this: what's the process like for one to be a wealth planner? How long does it take for you to be an official qualified wealth planner? And perhaps you could share with us your journey. So the reason I asked Ryan this question is everybody has a different journey, different years. So for example, I've had a chiropractor friend who came and shared about her experience. And she said it took her nearly 8 years to just, about 5 years, 5 to 6 years to really study and about another 2 or 3 years. So the whole journey to just be qualified took her 8 years to be officially qualified as a chiropractor. So perhaps for a wealth planner journey, what was the process like for you, and how long did it take? Yeah.
Okay, great. I'll share on this. So actually, to join or to become a wealth planner in the insurance industry, first of all, we have to enroll for our examination, which is under the Malaysian Insurance Institute. All right, so we have to sit for our exams. So it's nowadays no longer paper exam, computerized exam, thanks to technology. Okay, so yeah, so you sit for the exam, you will know the result on the same day, at the end of the day, at the end of the test. In fact, you will know the result. So once you've done the test, your result is out, and then you know whether you pass your paper or not. So we have to take 2 papers: investment in insurance and also in life insurance. So as long as you pass these 2 papers, you got your result, and then you go back to your desired or designated agency.
Right.
So you can actually enroll with your agency, your respecting agency. So you enroll there, and then you fill up some agreements and stuff like that with Prudential, or depending on which insurance company you join. And then at the end of the day, your license will be out. So we have to have a valid license to go out and do our planning or to meet our clients, because we are all trained when we are all professional in this society nowadays. We are all equipped with knowledge. So in order to maintain our position, we also have to actually attend courses. classes, trainings. So we have things like we know as a CPD hours. So for us, we have to fulfill 30 CPD hours a year. So besides going out there and do our meeting clients, doing the sales and stuff, we also have to fulfill the CPD hours. Because if you do not meet either one, then it's a bye-bye to you lah.
Sorry, what is, if you don't mind, clarify what's CPD? So people like myself won't know what CPD. I probably won't know. Maybe it's just myself. I don't know.
All
But
right.
what's CPD actually? To be honest.
Okay, CPD hours to me, okay, to be honest, I don't know what's the full name of it, but CPD hours is actually like, you know, like something like credit hours. Like back then when we studied for our courses, yeah. So we have something like credit hours, or they call it competitive hours or something like that. Okay, so we have to get it done. Yeah, so we go trainings and things like that, and we get it done. So that's where we actually but it's good to go training. You get to add knowledge. So you can use this knowledge to actually add value to your clients. So definitely, I think training is compulsory. So besides the 30 hours of CPD hours, we also have to fulfill a minimum requirement in terms of the sales. All right. So if we don't get either one, then we are going nowhere lah. Basically, we won't be terminated. Yeah, it's quite a harsh society though. But yes, that's how we maintain. That's how we keep it. Yeah.
So when you were going for classes, this was after you, okay, so after you finish your QS, in between then to your journey to being a wealth planner, you went for all these classes, right? Because you said you did part-time for a while. You did part-time, right?
I have to take the exam first. Then only I can become, I can only have that license to go out there and reach out to people.
Right.
So at the same time, during the duration, like, you know, after we got our license, then within the year, we have to fulfill the CPD hours.
And so how long was your classes like? How long do you have to go through classes?
Actually, every year we have these CPD hours to attend. So the classes depends. Back then, before all this pandemic and all these MCO things that happened, the classes or the courses, you know, might take maybe 3 days, depending. It depends on which course you attend. So like for new agents or wealth planner that just came on board, they have to attend a 20 hours training, or we call it course for the first year. Yeah, there's something they have to fulfill. So that course actually occupied 3 days, like literally from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. 3 days.
Huh.
Yeah, but yes, that's to get us equipped and to get us well prepared for the world out there.
And do you, even though when you're qualified now that you're still qualified, now that you're a qualified wealth planner, do you still, you guys still go for classes, right? Because I know a couple of friends, they do, I don't know, you have this MDRT or something, or I don't know what you call it. It's I don't know what you call it for you guys, but I know I've seen my friends going for like, I don't think you call it classes, like you just go there for like refresh your learning and stuff, right? Is that correct? Something like that.
We also have refreshers to attend, because refreshers are all according to Bank Negara compliance. So we are all we are well equipped in that. So we have to fulfill all this, you know, we go for refreshers and things like that. So besides that, also not to forget is also so besides this refresher classes, okay, what you mentioned about MDRT. So MDRT actually, in short, we call it the $1 million round table. All right. So what is $1 million round table is where someone actually achieve a certain amount of premium they have collected for the company. So MDRT, or $1 million round table, or in short MDRT, is what every wealth planners or insurance agents out there that want to achieve, because only 2% of the people can get MDRT. So it's very, very rare. It's like very top notch. It's a recognition. It's very distinctive out there. So it's also to show others that how, you know, how your recognition is there, and it gives people a confidence, to give your clients confidence as well, reliability. Okay, so of course, the title of wealth planner, just to share in short, actually is not, it's not like the moment you join in, maybe Prudential, okay, because Prudential, we call it wealth planner. In other insurance company, we call it otherwise, all right? So for wealth planner, you have to achieve a target or the of the total premium collectible of 125,000 in order to get there to become a wealth planner. So the moment, let's say you step over to the next year, everybody starts from zero again. And you have to work your way up to get that title again. Yeah, of course, thankfully this year, despite the pandemic, I managed to achieve becoming a wealth planner once again. Yeah, so it was really, I'm really grateful and really thankful to my clients that constantly trust in my service and also the advice that I give to them. Yeah, so I really appreciate their support as well.
Great, great. I think before we move into the next question, we do have something for you guys to participate, all our audience, but in the meantime, I'm just going to clarify a little bit of what I just mentioned. My chiropractor friend, she mentioned, just to clarify my statement, what she did was it took her 5 years for her Australian education to learn chiropractor. So I stand corrected there, but I think it took the whole journey about 7 years, something like that. 5 years for her Australian education. So just to clarify on that, thank you. We have some comments being made. Brandon Tan has said that that's amazing what you're doing, Ryan. So yeah, yeah, that's crazy, right? Because I think this pandemic has forced us into working in new environments, finding creative ways to try and do our work, and also for some of us finding ways to try and sharpen up our skills. Like for yourself, Ryan, I think for insurers like yourself, you have to find new ways to connect with your people, right? But
Yes.
at the end of the day, virtually, like you and I, for the property industry, and also like yourself, insurance people, we cannot do everything through virtually, because at the end it's always by the hands, physical, because that's when the interaction is there and the work is done there, I suppose. But yeah, I think now we will just move on to the next question. In the next question that I'm going to ask you is, sometimes, if not most, many people, especially myself, overlook the importance of knowing your insurance. So could you share with us of why is it important for us to understand and know the scope of our insurance, and what is the important thing we should look out for when it comes to policy of it? The reason I asked Ryan this question is, at one point, I'll just give you an example. So I have this insurance plan that it's a monthly thing I pay. It's about 221, right? It's about 221. I took up a package. In short, I won't go full details, otherwise I tell a long story, and it ends up overwriting the whole thing. But what I did was, what happened was, I think it was 2 years ago, end of 2017, when I stumbled upon something that caught my eye on one part. And there was, I don't remember what it is, but but what I remembered was I mislooked it. And until I read it, I said, oh my goodness, I should have read it properly. And then I had to get like this new person who is this insurance friend, who is it's an insurance friend of mine who is helping my family, helping out my sister. Actually, it's my sister's friend. So he came and literally sat down with me that day in my house. This was before COVID-19. It was last year. He came down and sat down with me and my mom, and he spoke about an hour just to explain to me the whole details about, this is what you sign up for and everything. And I got a better knowledge, or at least I got something out of it, because I had at one point at least only know so that, okay, insurance is like, perhaps, okay, if your car gets damaged, you're covered, your life, but I don't know the full extent, like the whole details. And to me, as part of the audience, like all of you are tuning in, and that's why I didn't ask Ryan on the day when I met him, because I want to experience, for those who also don't know, who are like me, don't know, like to ask Ryan on this, the importance of this question. And that's why I'm asking him these questions. together with you guys so that we can learn together and Ryan can share with us his thoughts and experience. So Ryan, yeah, please, could you share with us why is it important?
Of course, bro. I think that's one of the main reasons why I'm here, right?
Yes, of course. That's the reason I got you, and
Yes.
this is the main event. Sorry, guys. Yeah, this is the main event. This is the main topic. But yeah, of course, I just wanted to just share with our audience that I didn't want to get the answer from you on the day. I could, but I want to learn it together with all our audience here today. Yeah.
Would be great, definitely. I mean, I love doing sharings. I mean, I love to share knowledge and advice to people. Okay, so I'm going to ask the first question to the crowd. So I hope that you guys can also get involved and also answer the question. Okay, so the first question I would like to ask to everyone on the floor today is, how much coverage do you think is actually enough? So guys, you all can scan the QR code and you all can, answer the question there. So guys, I hope you guys can get involved, okay?
Yeah, so what we're gonna do is it's a fun interactive. I know some of you and I've been an audience before. When people start doing this, sometimes you don't want to say. So in another way to make it more fun, you guys just take your phone, scan this QR code, input your answers, and myself and Ryan, all of us will be able to see the answers that you write out on a separate screen shortly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on to our questions. Okay, we're gonna go, I'm gonna stop share a little bit on our screen. Okay, we've stopped share and I'm gonna share screen one moment. So at the meantime, just get your phone, scan. I hope you all had enough time to scan. Do you all had enough time to scan? Just leave a comment if you have not managed to have time to scan the code. But if you have, then please let us know through give us a thumbs up or leave your emoticons on whether you've okay. I've seen a couple of answers. Have you all managed to scan? For those of managed to get the barcode, sorry, just to share screen. Okay, we're going to share screen right now. Just to share screen again, put it up on your, just take your phone, scan the QR code, and then we'll jump into the answers after this, and Ryan can then after that explain further on from this. So give about 2 to 3 minutes for you all to type out really quick, and then we'll dive into the question, into the answer. Okay.
Shall we take a look at the answers?
Yes, we are going to take a look at the answers.
Looking forward. I'd like to see.
Okay, wow. Okay, I see quite a number of people say it's okay, but I see your answers. 1 million, 5 times of income replacement, 10% of your income, debt cancellation, 1 million or above 3 million. Fascinating. We'll just give a little bit more time for the others to have to figure out, because I'm pretty sure there's still more people who are still answering. We gave about maybe 2 minutes. Has anyone else not scanned it? Just again, if you're on Zoom, you have not scanned it, leave a message on your chat. If you're on Facebook, write it on the comments. I see you. Thank you, Eugene. I saw your message. Yeah. But otherwise, Ryan, what do you think of all this? What perhaps in the meantime, while we wait for the answers,
Okay, I think I can share a bit on when it comes to this, how much coverage do you think is enough? Okay, so actually, honestly speaking, everybody have that different amount of coverage that should be covered. So to make it easy for everyone in future, let's say if you guys going through a policy review, or you want to check through your coverage whether is it sufficient or not, you just have to remember one thing, which is the rule of thumb. Okay, so the rule of thumb for your life coverage is definitely 10 times of your annual income. All right, 10 times of your annual income. So let's say example, today your annual income is maybe let's say 50,000, okay? So at this point of life, you actually need 10 times of your annual income, which is 500,000, so that you will leave behind sufficient amount for your family, your loved ones or your dependents for the coming 10 years, all right? Okay, another question, another rule of thumb, which is actually for uh, critical illness, or we call it like one of the answer that income replacement is actually you need 5 times of your annual income. Okay, 5 times of your annual income for critical illness or income replacement. Because you see, there's a research done in US now when it comes to cancer patients. A severe cancer patient of stage 3 will probably take 5 to 10 years to recover. So that's why you need at least 5 times of your annual income, so that the person who is diagnosed with the critical illness, let's say example cancer, can actually, you know, sustain their living throughout this period of years. Because we all know that once you're down with a serious illness, you are definitely out of your job. Your boss will probably ask you to go and take a long break, or and things like that. So even let's say example, if without insufficient critical illness protection, or so if let's say one day you decide to return to work, you know that you are back fit, but do you think that society or your boss will actually employ or hire you again? Let's say example, today 2% goes to the interview. Yourself, you just recovered from maybe a severe cancer, stage 3 cancer. You recovered, you felt feeling good, you want to go and get a job again. And then at the same time, there is another interviewee. He is much more younger, healthier, and fitter. So of course, I believe everyone has the answer that definitely your boss will hire the younger and fitter guy. So we might be ready, but society might not be ready for us. That's why I strongly emphasize on this multiplier, which is the rule of thumb. Okay, so in order to besides that, of course, rule of thumb is more on the general basis. We can actually do precise calculation when it comes to this coverage amount. Well, you can actually sit down with your advisor or your planner to actually work out the exact amount to be covered. Say example, I give a scenario today. Let's say today you are a married man, okay? You're 30 years old, like just myself, okay? I put myself in the scenario. I just married, I have a kid, and I got a wife. So I need to know that if something happens to me today, I need to prepare how much money left behind for them, so that you see my daughter is only 2 months old. At least I need to leave aside the protection amount or coverage amount of at least that can last my family for 20 years. So that is how we actually work out the coverage amount. So I just gonna share you it's a true story, a past experience of mine. So actually a 50-year-old man that I recently I did not manage to help him. This was quite a regret. So it came from a friend of mine. He did not get his policy reviewed. He has insurance, which is very good. He has the awareness, he has the initiative. But unfortunately, the mindset of many out there that just assume that, oh, I just got an insurance plan, okay, good enough. I don't have to do anything to it. But the fact is that you have to have your policy reviewed every 2 to 3 years at least. So what happened to this man, this 50-year-old man, is when unfortunately he passed away in the car accident. So what happened that the family only received 50,000, because why? That policy he got back then, maybe like about 10 years ago, he only had himself covered with 50,000 of life. So I ask everyone today, 50,000 is literally impossible or not enough for one family to sustain, even let's say close to half a year. So that's why I strongly emphasize that policy review must be done. You can sit down with your advisor, you can sit down with your planner and get it sorted out.
And that's why I've got Ryan, because not because I'm his close friend, but also to support, also to lend support lah, in a way lah. I've been in this industry, we are, as much as we work, but it's also in a way to help spread awareness lah. So yeah, thank you for sharing what you just shared. Hopefully for those, hopefully that answers some of your questions for those who are tuning in live. If you do have more questions on this, you can just leave it further. For those on Zoom, you can leave it on the chat, on this chat, on Zoom chat. If you're on Facebook Live tuning, you can leave your comments on this question. If you want to talk further about coverage, you can leave your comments there, and Ryan and I will be able to see it, and perhaps we'll take it offline. Ryan can answer you on a separate matter. But yeah, Ryan, please continue. Would you like to move on?
Okay, so I have another question for the crowd to answer as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is a very common mistake that everyone will actually have a misunderstanding or a misconception. So actually, do you know the difference between medical coverage and critical illness coverage? All right, so fellow audience today, you can drop your answers here. I would like to see the participation. I want to see everyone get involved, get active in this.
So it's basically is this again. So it's, do you know the difference between medical coverage and critical illness coverages? Secondly, just to put it in two in one, and do you know what are you covered in your policy? So you can just leave your answers in that in the chat by scanning this. I'll leave this on for about give you about 5 minutes. I think that should be okay. Hopefully you all have scanned maybe 2 minutes just to scan this, and then we will go into the again we'll go into that Mentimeter to review and look at what you just answered. So yeah, please go ahead. 2 minutes from now.
Right. So I believe meanwhile, the rest of the audience, if you have any questions regarding about the first question that I asked, or the first question or first section that I explained, you can drop them in the chat box, or you can actually leave it in the comment box if you're on Facebook Live.
Sure. Yeah. And if any of you so happen to like, oh no, I missed out on Facebook Live and all that, you can just drop us. If you can see on the Facebook feed, I have tagged Ryan there. You can then, don't stop him lah. Go and click there and then message him if you have any further question. But I'm pretty sure most of you guys are his friends lah. So if you have further questions, just drop him a message there, or if you have his number, just direct your questions to him. And for my fellow audience, if you need to ask him some questions, I'm more than happy to forward it to him. So in the meantime, okay. I hope you guys have all scanned. I'm going now to switch to the other side, and we're going to review the answers. Just give me one moment while we dive into that. Hopefully, hope you guys, it's not too difficult for you guys. Hopefully this is a bit interactive. Ryan and I were just deciding how to make it more exciting and get you all involved, because sometimes being I'm an audience like you guys before, and as I mentioned, this is only one time. This is like the only first time I'm being a host, and so I know what's it like to be an audience when you're like, oh no, I don't want to talk out loud. So Ryan and I decided, hey, let's be more creative and let's have a safe space for people, to share. So okay, we're gonna just open it up right now. Hope you guys have scanned. Okay, Ryan, I just saw a comment. Maybe you could answer.
Yeah, sure. I saw it too. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. To Tuan Yen, yes. Would the critical illness update from time to time? Maybe you want to specify your question a bit in terms of update. What kind of update are you referring to? You're referring to the coverage in terms of early and late stage, or like new coverage coming in. Maybe you can be more specific on that. Yeah, I will be glad to answer your question. Your question actually.
Thank you, Tuan Yen, for your question. Meanwhile, as Ryan mentioned, but in the meantime, while she perhaps figure out to get back to you on that, perhaps we can take a look at the questions, the answers that is being placed out. Again, stop me, guys. For those tuning in here and on Facebook, stop me, or just drop a message if you didn't have time to scan, and I'll go back to that page. Otherwise, I'm just gonna leave it here. Hope you guys have scanned it already. But if you probably need a bit time, you can answer. But meanwhile, perhaps Ryan can just continue on based on this couple of answers first. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Thanks, Jesse. So actually, speaking of this, yes, I think most of our audience today are not too bad. You know, they know their answer pretty well. So it's good to see. I mean, it's good to see people are getting the awareness, they understand this. But just let me share with everyone here today that actually, when I go and meet my clients, I mean, I do go for my appointments day to day. So I met some of my clients who actually didn't know the difference when I helped them to do policy review. So I told them, hey, you got medical card, you got medical coverage, you need, and it was lacking of this critical illness in their policy. So I told them, hey, you need to add up your critical illness coverage. So what my client replied me was, I thought medical card covers it. Yes, fair enough. Medical card only covers the treatment for the critical illness. But what I'm mentioning here about critical illness coverage is that coverage, that sum of money that the insurance company will pay out to you when you're down with a critical illness. Say example, let's just give the common ones in Malaysia: cancer, stroke, and heart attack. All right. So I got a story to share here. Actually, it happened to one of a friend of mine. He's 60 years old this year. So apparently he went through quite a rough ride, quite a bumpy road. He had his heart surgery, which is basically he done angioplasty. He done twice, the stent, and then also he was about and almost needed to do this bypass surgery. Okay, at the age of 60, it's not easy at all. So what happened was, after I spoke to him, I had a good chat with him over coffee, and he told me that actually he only had a standalone medical card, unfortunately, because standalone medical card, yes, you get your hospitalization covered in terms of the critical illness, but lack of this coverage amount that actually will pay out to take care of you when you're down with critical illness, which is actually quite a sad story to hear from my friend. Unfortunately, he had to continue to work despite having this situation. He has to continue to monitor his business, and he has to get hands-on. So I think if I have met him earlier, if I had spoken to him earlier about this, probably I would have been able to ease his life easier. Yeah, so I hope today that the crowd today, the audience today, really understand the importance of critical illness coverage, because it can definitely help you to maintain the lifestyle that you have created for yourself or even for your family without having to go through a downfall in your lifestyle.
Great. I mean, I think this is what you say is really true. It's really important for us to know the difference between these two, because it's I noticed one of the things is illnesses. There's something that I remember when I was talking with my insurance friend who's doing my coverage, and he says certain package doesn't cover certain things, so you need to know the difference as well, because when you sign, it's not necessary you sign for both. Sometimes you're just signing for one package, and so I think that's really important to know the difference. And through your sharing, I know a bit more of what I'm going to do when I look through my policy and everything. So yeah, thanks for sharing on that, and hopefully for the audience as well. Hopefully Ryan has gave you all something insights of that. Ryan, perhaps you want to go to the last question that you have, because the next one, would you like to ask the audience?
Let's say before we proceed to the question, I think we have a comment from Tuan Yuan. So she actually meant, she already specified her question.
Yeah.
So what she was mentioning is that the types of critical illness in different years, saying between year 2000 and year 2020. Of course, because with the increase of all these critical illness happening out there, so insurance companies are very considerate, very thoughtful. They also did survey and they realized that actually critical illness is becoming something very common these days. So let's say back then in year 2000, probably is only covering about 36 types of critical illness. But if you're looking at year 2020, nowadays the critical illness coverage can go up to 180 conditions, which has already been tremendously improved. Because we want to make sure that we cover everyone's life aspect, not only just at the late stage. Imagine if today you only got critical illness coverage that covers you, because you see, everyone have to understand the term or the definition of critical illness coverage, which means that when you are diagnosed with a severely critical illness, all right, must be late stage and things like that, then only you will receive the payout. But think about it, guys. Sometimes we might not know. We might get diagnosed with maybe an early stage, let's say stage 1 cancer, early stroke, mild stroke. Then we won't get paid out because that is an early stage. Are we going to wait and suffer until you get to stage 3? Which I think is quite impossible, right? I mean, doesn't make sense. So that's why insurance company come out with these ideas. They constantly improve to make sure that despite even we are down with stage 1, we also get a sum to pay out. So at least you can take that money, that sum paid out, you know, take a good break, get yourself conditioned back, go and get your treatment done, and then you come back better. So I think it is very crucial when it comes to this. I hope I answered your question, Tuan Yuan.
Hopefully for the rest too. I think that was quite a good question she asked. I don't think I would have thought about that as well. So yeah, it's a good question to ask. If anybody, again, emphasize if you all have any questions after this, because you know we are moving on. Again, feel free to just drop me or Ryan a message for, or for those who don't have Ryan's message, my audience, you can drop me a message and I forward the message, your questions to him. Okay, and I think we have one more question, which we have to go. Perhaps Ryan, would you like to go to the last one, the next one?
Great, of course. Let's have it roll.
Oh, is it roll?
It's not rolling yet.
1 second. Oh, Rick. Sorry. One moment. There was a bit of a issue. My bad. Sorry, guys. See, lost. Okay. The last question from Ryan we have for you guys. So yeah.
This is a common one. This is a common one. I seriously, you know, a lot of people do not know. So yes, that's why I'm asking the audience today. I want you all to answer me honestly, okay, so that I can be able to explain further why you need to know. Okay. So guys, get your phone, scan the QR code, and we hope to see your answer shortly.
We'll just leave this up for 2 to 3 minutes, because I know when this is being broadcast to the Facebook, there's a bit of a delay on Facebook. There's slight delay, so we'll just give a little bit of timing. But while they are going to scan and answer, Ryan, how about yourself? Before coming to insurance, did your parents? I'm going to reverse the question back on you. This one.
Come on, yes, bring it over.
You know whether the policy you gotten, did your parents got you into it? Like, you know, was it, you know, gotten by your parents? I'm gonna put it back to you while they answer, while the audience answer. So how about your side? Yeah, from you.
Okay, great. I mean, it's good. I want to share my experience. So, okay, back then, before I even stepped into this industry, I did not know a single thing about insurance. Okay. When people told me about insurance, I only thought about it like sales or MLM or something like that. But coming to understand it actually, then you will find it actually it is something very important, something that we need to know, because insurance is like our plan B in our life. So back to my story. So back then, actually, I didn't know a single thing. I thought I had medical coverage, and I even assumed that, okay lah, I got my company to cover me. I don't need to get insurance. I don't need to get my personal medical coverage and things like that.
Right.
Actually, all those are all the wrong thoughts. Okay, because our company, they don't cover us with high coverage. Let's say, example, if you today you are an executive, the company won't provide you much coverage unless you are a CEO, director, or maybe managing director. Perhaps the coverage will be sufficient. But I actually just share a personal experience. I did quite a lot of policy reviews. So I did for one of these young men, the age 23. He told me that I got my company cover me lah, so no need lah. Why need? I said okay, fair enough. You go and ask your HR department, then you come and tell me whether enough or not. So at the end of the day, he went and asked, and he came back and he tell me, hey Ryan, shit lah, seriously, it's only 20,000 a year. So let me ask everyone today, what can 20,000 do for you? 20,000 is just probably barely enough to cover maybe what, appendicitis, surgery, or maybe even dengue. Dengue could even exceed, depending on which hospital you admit. So 20,000 won't be enough to cover if, let's say, a major illness or a serious injury, let's say due to a car crash or something, happens on you. You might need more than that. That's why I strongly emphasize that to all the audience here today, that you all should really look into a personal medical coverage today if you don't have one. If you have one, fantastic. But please look into the coverage amount, because why? Medical inflation is just going up every year, 13 to 15%. So this is a research being done by the and it's also up in the Star newspaper. So get your coverage amount reviewed.
Correct. I think, you know, staying in hospital, I noticed when a couple of my friends, you know, just stay over 2 nights, right, in hospital because they have some sort of the bill is so expensive, and if you don't have coverage on your insurance, wow, how can you fork out that kind of money, right? And it is really costly to do that. Right, let's go and see what they've answered. Hopefully this was long enough for them while I had asked you this question back at yourself, you know, while they had time to scan and answer. So I'm going to just go to the next one. Meanwhile, just give me a few seconds while I get that on. I hope some of this, you know, what Ryan has shared, I find it like as much as I'm learning as well new things today as well. So I didn't know all of this again. For those who just who are tuning in now, I don't what Ryan is sharing is all fresh, even though I've met him a couple of times already. So far, okay, most of them, okay, quite a lot. Okay, I'm going to share, present.
Yes, have it up, show it up.
I'm going to show it up right now. So we are going to put it up. It's interesting. Okay, so this is the majority of them, well, so far I've noticed is 3 have answered, but maybe it could have been more, but the big answer is yes.
Okay, that's the good news. I mean, as long as you guys know what you really have, but I believe that we have some shy audience here today. So so yeah, but I really appreciate those audience that actually participate in this. Okay, so let me just share with you. Okay, because you see, what is an enforced policy? An enforced policy is where your policy is actually active and it can actually serve the purpose to cover you when you needed the coverage most, or maybe you needed the money the most. All right. So let me just share you a story. Okay, it happened on one of my clients, and I felt that heart pain, that moment, you know, when I felt that I couldn't help the family. Okay, so this is a client of mine. He's a young boy, currently age 22. So actually, he took up the insurance from me because he realized the importance of it. So he has a family member, of course, a dad, a mom, and himself, and a sister. Okay. So they are not very well off family. They just manage to sustain and just manage to cover their lifestyle, their expenses. So they are not very well off. So one day, my client's dad actually went to see the clinic, to the doctor, to get consultation because he wasn't feeling very well. He had fever. So after seeing the doctor, taking medications, he went home. All right, as usual, we take medication, we go home, we rest. What happened that shocked me and my client himself that was 3 days after taking the medication, my client's dad passed away. Just passed away, not knowing what reason. Okay, so of course, passing away, the family had to do all the funeral planning and all these things, get the things done. And while my friend, my client, which is actually my friend, was actually running through the remainings of his dad, the documents and all these things, they found a policy, okay, an insurance policy. So they were very, very happy. They were like, wow, there's an insurance policy. Maybe, we can go and claim for the life coverage, which is death, to go and proceed with a death claim. So I asked, I went along with them, and it was coincidentally also a Prudential policy. Okay, so what happened was actually my client went and we went to the customer service, we proceeded with the claim, we showed them the policy, we even took the death cert there, to prove. Unfortunately, what the customer service told us was, oh, I'm so sorry, your dad's policy actually lapsed already for more than 10 years. So what is a lapse policy? A lapse policy means that the policy is no longer active anymore. So imagine my client, and they, his mom depended on his income, and he only just started work like about a year, earning about close to 3,000 a year. So when the family needed that money the most, what happened was, when they heard this news, this devastating news, that policy couldn't help them. I was there. I witnessed this situation and I felt really helpless. I was like, hey, why didn't I help him? Or why didn't I offer to help him to review his whole family's insurance policy to make sure that everything is working? If only I could have done that earlier for him. Probably they would have a sum of money to sustain their living today, or to even maintain the lifestyle that my client's dad has built for them. Yeah, so this is the story and the experience that I went through. And I really urge the audience today to really, really make sure that your coverage is up to date and it is enforced.
Great. Wow. What a sharing, Ryan. And we are coming, we're going to go into probably one of the last questions for tonight. But I think, your sharing has been really, really, really great. And I think there's so much, the insurance industry, there's so much for you to talk about, but there's only so much we can talk, you can share, because if you did share the whole thing, you probably take a whole day seminar, I suppose, right? Because it's a lot, right? I think it's a
Yes,
lot.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
But I probably didn't put the question in here, but just this should be easy for you to answer.
Okay.
There's different aspects of insurance that you're being covered, right? Are you well versed in all, or are you specializing in a few only?
Okay. I'll answer this quickly, briefly as well. When we are all wealth planners or even qualified or quality insurance agents in the industry, we have to be well equipped on all aspects.
Wow.
Yes, we have to know each different coverage. How can it help our client's life? How can it be, how can we complete their backup plan or their contingency plan? We need to have this knowledge to advise them. Because if today we don't have this knowledge to advise them, who can advise them at the end of the day?
Okay. Anyways, wow. Thanks for sharing that, because I know there's insurance, as I mentioned, it's a lot of things that you'll cover, but only today Ryan is talking on a few important things that we need to know or if you'd like to know more, again, I think if we want to cover it, it had to be in a few various segments in order for you to talk on the full thing, right? On the full insurance thing. But coming to the last question, and this is usually how I ask my other guest speakers, and it's the same, but you know, every industry goes through different challenges. And so what are the challenges that you face, especially during this time of the pandemic? And how do you prepare for that? And any advice you'd like to share with us in enduring this pandemic? You know, like any advice, whether it's from your insurance side or whether as you yourself, coming from you yourself, Ryan, that help you to endure during this pandemic to stay positive. Yeah.
Okay, I'll share on this. I think basically when everyone had received the news that the pandemic, our country, when we officially had the first MCO, which is I think on 18th of March early this year, I think everyone was lost. Everyone was devastated. Everyone have no idea what can we do. You know, let's just put myself as for our industry, the insurance industry. You know that in the insurance industry, we depended a lot on meeting face to face, where we sit down with our clients and we plan it through with them. Unfortunately, this pandemic definitely gave us an impact at the start when we were really lost. We don't know what can we do. When we cannot even step out the door and meet our clients, what can we do? So fortunately, the company actually came up with various initiatives, came up with various alternatives such as online remote. We can help clients to actually help them to improve their insurance coverage via online platform. And we can actually meet our clients via Zoom. I think Zoom came the right time actually. So Zoom helped us a lot, despite not getting that human touch that we wanted to give to our clients, but at least we can see them face to face, right? So fortunately, our industry, we have to learn how to adapt quickly to the situation. We need to learn how to strive and come out stronger than the rest, so that we are able to go out there and help more people to get the suitable coverage they have lack of. Okay, so so that's why after that, when things got better, when the RMCO came in, we started to go back out and we started to meet people back again. Of course, rest assured, we all follow SOP. Okay, we have masks on, we constantly sanitize our hands to make sure that we also give our clients an assurance that we are COVID-free. All right. So what are the values that I can share over is during this period, we can actually have two choices. Okay, we can have two choices. Number one, when the MCO kick in, we can either choose to be lost, accept that MCO is here and we just do nothing, or we can actually choose to find our way out, to find alternative solution, to work our things out, because it's fair. Okay, I not standing from any religious point of view, but God is fair. All right, as long you put your effort in, they see your effort and things will happen. So choose to persevere it. I really kept trying, despite, yes, a lot of my clients actually had difficulties in terms of maybe to increase their coverage during that such critical time. Is because I believe a lot of people here know that their income has been affected and things like that, So it was tough, but never give up, never keep trying, just keep doing it, because we all know that as long as we persevere, we can definitely come out stronger than before. So that is how myself, how I actually persevere, how I just kept doing, and I came out from the situation. Yeah, rather than just sitting down, accepting the fact that COVID hit me and I do nothing.
All right.
Because life has to go on eventually. We have to make our ends meet. We need to, even sustain our family. We need to feed our family. So we have to come up with solutions.
All right.
So we learn to adapt and come out stronger from that.
Correct. Wow. Just for our audience, this was something, okay, apart from the rest of the questions that I didn't know, this question was something that the first start when I met Ryan about maybe a month ago, and we talked about this, and we said, look, during this pandemic season, during this time, yes, life has to go on. And let's be all honest, we're going to be very open. Death is inevitable. It's the way, how are we going to choose to die? You want to die by not doing anything at home? Or, like, I'm not, sorry, correct me, am I wrong? Do we not do anything and die because of the pandemic causing us not to do anything, thus then our everything dropped, right? And I think I shared something with Ryan. Or, we can go out and do something, right? Or make the full use of this, find new ways how we can do business outside, create new avenues, create new ways. I think what I shared with Ryan the other time with another friend is this: a lot of us are fearing for our lives of pandemic, and I think let's put this into perspective. I think I shared with Ryan and our friend, another friend of ours. I just said like this: a lot of times the COVID-19, they keep on saying, oh, if you have cough lah, you have dengue lah, you have cough, you have headache, it's a sign of COVID-19. Then this was something we thought. Then on following up on this question, which I didn't tell Ryan, so I met another friend the other day and I thought about it and I asked my friend, dude, if you got cough and you fear, right? Over the last 10 years, we've been coughing, we've been having fever, we have been stomach ache. Have our last 10 years been living in COVID-19, and have we been living a lie? Because now COVID-19, they say if you have cough, it's a sign of COVID-19. Right? Isn't that true, Ryan? I think that's what they say. If you have a bit of cough or you have COVID-19, I'm like, dude, I told my other friend, then the last 10 years we all been living a lie, COVID-19. So I mean, I'm not telling you guys to like be negligent, but also don't fear it too much until it drives you not to do anything. That's my take of how I look at this pandemic lah. From my side of things. Ryan, anything for you to add on what I just shared, or anything further to add, or if anybody would like to add in or like to say anything, if not, yeah, Ryan, anything that you'd like to add? Yeah.
Actually, I also look into this matter, and I think sometimes, yes, we all know COVID-19 is a pretty little virus. I mean, little in a way, okay? Yeah, it's quite a fatal virus. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of people magnify it to, magnify it a lot. People forgot about other kind of illness that happens around us. People forgot about dengue. Dengue, the death rate of dengue is way higher than COVID. But people forgot about dengue. People took dengue like a child's play. And what about other critical illnesses? Cancer. That was the thing that was actually still more major and more serious, Talking about cancer, that's like 1 out of 4 people will get cancer, but people forgot about that. People gonna look at COVID because COVID is like such a new thing, such a happening thing out there. And then we forget about those things. But while those things are the major ones that we should actually be more aware of. You see? But of course, like what Jesse has mentioned, we should not neglect COVID-19. Of course, we have to still practice the SOP.
I think even death on the car accidents on the road, I'm just hearing my dad and all were just saying death on the road is more than COVID-19. Well, technically what he says, there is true facts into that lah, but if you accumulate in maybe this year, like the rates right now, it's different lah. But what he did say, in overall, death on the road is still far higher than COVID-19. So you're right. I think sometimes we just magnify the problem until it stricken us into fear, into this thing that oh no, I cannot do this, cannot go out, must be at home. No, it's not that. But yeah, I think that's, guys, that's actually the wrap to our Q&A session with Ryan. And Ryan, thank you so much for your time, bro, for coming on to share
Thank you, thank
on
you.
your
It's
time.
honor. It's an
Guys,
honor to
thank you
have me
for
here.
tuning in, all of you, the friends. You can still replay this on your Facebook Live. Once this session is over, you can check it out on our page. You can share it; it'll be on. If not, you can listen to it on Spotify and our Apple Podcast. But just two things for you, audience who stayed on faithfully. We have something really exciting to share with you guys, and that's a giveaway that we're going to have for two lucky winners here. That will be selected by Ryan and myself. But before that, I'd like to share with you guys, this is not the last time that I'm going to see, we are going to see Ryan. If you'd like to catch Ryan again, we are going to, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, you can, if you see the QR code below on your screen here on this page, that's actually a full profile of, perhaps Ryan, would you like to explain what's the QR code for them if they scan?
Okay, great. Because I know that maybe some of the audience here do not know me well enough, or maybe know me throughout, okay, or know me thoroughly. So I actually have a QR code being placed there, so that you can actually scan your QR code and you can go through my profile and get to understand me better. So I hope in future, if let's say you need any assistance, or you need any consultation, or you need just someone to talk to, you're always free to look for me.
Great, great. Actually, somebody just asked really quickly. I think it's the last question. Just came in. I think you did see it. Did you have? I think okay. Don't mind the English. I think he's asking whether are you covering the new COVID-19?
Okay. Okay, this is actually one of the, I think this is one of the hot question that has been questioned and being asked by everyone during this
Question. Yeah.
MCO period. Okay, so actually COVID-19, we, okay, how do I picture, or how do I position it? We don't cover in terms of the test, but the test you can actually claim it from the Life Insurance Association Malaysia. You can go and claim it there, like you do your COVID test and all those things. Because now, as we all know, private hospitals don't actually accept COVID patients. Even if today you go to the hospital, in private hospital, and you get your COVID test done, if let's say unfortunately, if let's say you're already diagnosed with positive COVID-19, you will be transferred to the respective government hospitals. Say example, maybe Sungai Buloh, Sedang, even University Malaya. Yes, you will be there for sure. So private hospitals don't accept COVID at the moment. But if in terms of talking about covering COVID-19, we cover, of course, Prudential back then had, or not only Prudential, various insurance companies out there, okay, are all offering free COVID-19 coverage. Of course, provided that you have to take up their, maybe download their apps or things like that. So that was something that the insurance company are giving back to people, like a CSR project. So yeah, I hope that I answer your question, Mr. Loyong Wai. Yeah, so I hope your question has been answered.
Hey, yeah, I think that's all. I didn't miss any comments here, but anyways, thanks again, Ryan, for coming aboard to share, and I hope everybody learned something new as I did. I learned quite a number of new things, Ryan, from your sharing.
Thank you.
But this is not the end of Ryan. Again, you want to hear his voice more, you can tune in on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. No lah, it's for good learning. But if not, we have another live session that is going to happen on the 21st of December, and these are all the guest speakers that I've so far gathered. A few of them have yet to come and speak. Some of them will be speaking on their own sharing, perhaps on the date another time from this. But next week, But yeah, on the 21st, these are the couple of guest speakers who will be joining me for a roundtable conversation. And why is that so? The reason I've got these speakers to come aboard is we want to learn from one another, and how can we support each other from different industries, and how can we learn from one another. And I think it's very interesting. We have someone from teach from Malaysia. We have again the chiropractor, a friend of mine I've known for couple of years. All of these are friends that I know a couple of years. I have somebody from the volunteering side, from the volunteering perspective and industry. Then of course you have yours truly, Ryan, from the Prudential, and my next week's guest speaker who is going to be speaking next week. She's in here. She's actually watching this live as well on our Zoom. She's going to be speaking about her startup business, which is next Monday at 9 o'clock as well. And it's a business she started on her own called Shackle Wackle. And my other speakers are Suban, who is a child psychologist. Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong. I think he did mention he's the first child psychologist in Malaysia. Is that correct?
He actually is the pioneer to have this assessment. The pioneer to have this assessment to actually able to evaluate the child's behavior.
Right.
Yeah, it's gonna be different from others actually.
Right. Okay. Thanks for clarifying. So Ryan was the one who introduced me to Suban, who is one of his friend. And when I met up, that is really interesting. And the topic that we still haven't firmed up the date yet, but it will be a very interesting topic because we're going to talk about psychology in today's pandemic and how, for kids, especially kids going through this, time. And we're going to cover various segments. It's going to be in a couple of segments. And last but not least, of course, a friend of mine as well, Nicholas Alfonso Pereira, who is based in Penang now. He used to be from here, but he's moved on to Penang to start up his own business called Woodsman's Makerspace, where he teaches you to how to build your own stuff, teach you how to DIY, build your own chairs, build your own house and stuff. So he started a business over there in Penang. I think it's been a while now, a year plus or a year more. But so that's that on the 21st, and we will see Ryan there, and perhaps the conversation will be more interesting where we have a roundtable conversation with all our guest speakers. And of course, last but not least, we have giveaways for those of you who are tuning in. So myself and Ryan will be we'll be selecting a couple of the audiences here who are here today. I'm just gonna need to just do a few things at the moment. We're gonna just capture a bit of the, okay. So we're gonna randomly pick a lucky winner who tune in with us, and then if it's Ryan's friend that he's picked, he will message you personally. If it's for my audience, I'll message you guys personally of the lucky winner. But until then, we'll see you guys, and thank you all for tuning in. Those on Facebook tuning in, thank you for coming in. And if you like to tune in on the 21st, the link will be the same link that Ryan has sent to you. We'll be using that link for the 21st December. If you'd like to tune in for our other guest speakers like next week, you can also use the same link to tune in. Until then, that's goodbye to all of my Facebook friends. We're going to end our session now. And thank you to everybody. And thank you once again, Ryan, for coming on board to share. It's a great honor and a pleasure to have you on board. So thank you, everybody. And good night. We'll see you guys. Take care.
Thank you, Jesse, and everyone have a great night. I hope you all learned something, pick something, one or two, you pick one or two things to go back today. And yes, I hope to see you all again on 31st of December. All right, good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.